go ahead and get started. We gotta. All right, so today we're gonna start by opening up our psoas. I got one yay and like, oh God. It's hopefully. We're gonna start with our blanket. I want you to start with your blanket about quarter size. And what you are going to do is fold it in thirds. And I'm saying thirds, but it might be smaller or wider than that for you. Can you unfold that one more time, Sandy? Let me see what it looks like.
This is bigger. This is a different dimension.
Okay, so keep yours. Nope. Unfold it again.
Okay.
Yeah, because your torso is longer than mine. Okay, and so we're going to fold it third. And what you are going to do is you're going to make two little fists of your own, and you are going to adjust your blanket width so it is a third for you. So it's going to be no wider than your two fists. So if you have to open it up and make it even more narrow, that is what you're going to do, because it needs to be no wider than your two fists. So if you have to make it more narrow, go ahead and do that, because it has to be your two fist width. Awesome. And then once you've got it two fist width, we're going to make a little chipotle burrito from that. And so you're going to go, I like doing it just from the finished, or rather the fringy side, and you're going to roll it just so it's about a chipotle burrito thick. I mean, that's a huge burrito, but like if it's any, I have all the toppings, all the guac, all the rice, all the beans and the chicken and the steak. I did all of it, the cheese and the salsa. And so we don't want it to be any bigger than that. And then you are going to find the space below your belly button, above your pubic bone, and between your two hip bones. And you're going to lay that burrito right between there. So below belly button, above pubic bone, and between two hip bones. So once you find that, you're going to immediately just lay down over the blanket. Legs are long, and you'll find stuff that immediately says, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't eaten breakfast. That's a huge burrito stuck in there. And you're just going to lay flat on it. You can bring a cheek to the mat. You can stack your hands right on top of each other, but you're going to just take a moment to breathe. And you've got the blanket that's supporting the chest as a sort of bolster. And then you have that bulgy part pressing into the abdomen below the belly button, above the pubic bone. And the first thing that you'll do is see if you can relax here. I know, big joke. There's your April Fool's Day gag, but like, see if you can just relax here. See if you can relax. And then if you feel like you would like to, I'd like you to just take two big breaths in through the nose and a big audible breath out through the mouth. And you're just starting to find a little bit more ease around this, as though the front of your body could envelop that blanket burrito. Nice job. And you might feel quite a bit going on here. And then some of you will just stay here in complete stillness and just breathe. Some of you will try to tip your right hip bone to the floor so it goes over the blanket roll. And you'll notice that if you move very slowly, you'll start to feel stuff moving perhaps in the top of the hip and in the back of the sacrum. And then you'll come back through center and you'll slowly go to the other side. And you'll just take this a few more times on your own, and you're just moving very slowly. The slower that you move, you allow that blanket to start to press into the muscles of the pelvis and start to create space in the iliacus and the psoas major. And you might also find this creates space and width in the sacrum and in the back. I also find that it works its way up into my shoulders if I can let my shoulders relax instead of pressing and bracing against the floor. Yeah, I know. It's fun.
Before you put your-
I just leave them there. And then you just simply shift the pelvis a little right to left. And it's just a little internal massage for your psoas and your iliacus. And once you feel like you are pretty balanced between the sides, meaning you've gone right and left equal number of times, go ahead and come to stillness over the blanket burrito. And then once you're here, I want you to try to curl your tailbone down to the floor over the blanket burrito. And then I want you to lift your pubic bone away from the floor, just taking these little cats and cows. And you'll notice that this is a different type of sensation. And so you're just arching and flexing the very tip of the tailbone over that blanket roll, noticing what this is doing in the sacrum and in the low back. And after you've done about 4 or 5 more of those, you'll just come to stillness and you'll let yourself breathe. And you'll just breathe and you'll soften and you'll notice what you notice. So today we're working very much on just getting grounded in our physical body so that we can experience all aspects of life as it's happening instead of our mental interpretations of what we think is happening. And so we'll just see how that goes as we move along. As you're ready, let's go ahead and bring our hands alongside our rib cage. Press down into your hands and your knees and come up into a tabletop position. You can go ahead and leave that blanket there for a moment. Curl both sets of toes under. Walk your feet together and push your bum back towards your feet. And we're just going to pause here for a moment in this mini baby toe squat. And you might walk your hands even further forward, finding almost like a weird child's pose with your toes curled under. And then you'll just notice what this feels like to find elongation through the spine. Notice what this feels like to really press into the floor and lift up through your armpits. On your next in-breath, let's go ahead and come forward to hands and knees. And as you exhale, round through your spine, finding a little cat and cow. And you'll just start to find the breath. You'll start to notice what the breath feels like. Nice work. And you've just got 2 more rounds of cats and cows, and you might find that they become a little side body movement, meaning you look over one shoulder and then the other. You might find that you want to make them barrel rolls, but you're just allowing yourself to feel into the body, noticing what sensations you are having in this moment. And at the end of your next exhalation, you'll find yourself in stillness. Go ahead and walk your knees, ankles, and shins together. Curl both sets of toes under. Start to walk your hands back to your knees, your butt towards your heels, and bring your spine up to vertical. And then once you find yourself there, make sure your pinky toes have not escaped. Go ahead from there, sit as tall as you can through the spine, and then reach your left arm up and overhead. Bend your left elbow, grab the left elbow with your right hand. And you're just going to pause here, pulling the left elbow to the right, pushing the left elbow to the left. Draw your skull straight back. And some of you might want to take a little side bend to the right and just find a little bit of stretch happening in the upper left intercostal. Oh, will it? Okay, then I might do that. And then you'll gently release that. And then you'll try that on the other side. Oh, you're right, Sandy. Look at that. So you'll lift the right arm up, bend the right elbow, grab the right elbow with the left hand. And again, you're pushing the right elbow to the right. As you pull it to the left, the head draws straight back. And you might just take a little side bend to the left. And it just stretches, relax our mouths, stretches the right shoulder. And then go ahead and release that. Both arms up, both arms out, interlace hands at the low back. And you might shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, shoulder blades onto the back body. And then notice if you want to move your head around just a little bit. But we've got 3 more breath cycles here. And I just want you to notice the sensation that you're experiencing in the feet, maybe in the shins, maybe in the breath. And then very gently we'll release. You'll come forward, tops of the feet on the floor, pitter patter those feet, having a happy little temper tantrum. And notice that you're now relaxed and out of that shape where just a moment ago you felt a lot of sensation. And then if you'd like, shift your weight back, take a counter stretch. Lifting perhaps one end or both knees away from the floor. Yeah, we have not done that in a while. And then as you're ready, we'll come forward to hands and knees once again. This time, walk your hands about one handprint forward. Curl both sets of toes under. Take a little cow shape in the chest and start to press your bum up and back for downward facing dog. Yeah. And for our first down dog today, that blanket is still there. The task is see if you can reach your head towards the blanket. Yep, reach your pubic bone up and back, and everybody just bend your left knee. Just bend your left knee. Reach the right heel towards the floor, and you'll stay here for about 4 or 5 breaths, really sensing what's happening in the back of that right left, that right leg, that right calf. Pressing down evenly through both hands and noticing if you can deepen your breath. And then as you're ready, you'll go ahead and bend both knees and switch sides, lowering just the left heel to the floor. Keep lifting up through your armpits, yeah, and lifting the hips up and back. Nice work. All right, next in breath. See if you can find more length on the side body. Yeah. Next out breath, see if you can bend both knees. And then inhale, roll your spine forward into planky pose. That blanket is still there. We're going to hover over this. And I want you to see if you can push the floor away and then lift up through the happy inner armpits. Yeah. See if you can lengthen your tailbone back. And then notice if you can breathe just a little bit more consciously, just a little bit more deliberately. Nice job, guys. On your next in-breath, shift your weight forward. And as you exhale, lower back down to that blanket. Center of chest comes down. Most of you, your blanket roll should have unrolled without you holding it there, so it should be flat. And then with your hands next to your ribs, press the tops of the feet onto the floor, toenails press down. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears and shoulder blades onto your back. And then lift your ears in line with the tops of your shoulders. Pause. Lengthen your tailbone back a lot. Yep. Draw your sternum forward a lot. Yep. Now see if you can lift your head just a smidge so the ears are in line with the shoulders and isometrically hug the elbows onto the back. Yep. Now bring your hands actually to the back of your skull. Hands to the back of your skull. Great. Now from here, let's all press down into our pinky toes. Straighten our legs long. Lengthen your tailbone back. Now push your head into your hands and pull your hands forward into your head to see if you can lift your chest a little higher. Keep pressing the feet down. Keep breathing. Nice job. On your next exhale, lower all the way down. Plant your hands alongside the lowest ribs. Curl the toes under. Press up hands and knees or plank pose. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Yeah. Awesome. So we just got three steady breaths here. And you're just going to notice what you notice here in this moment. Can you lift the hips a little bit higher? Can you press the hands down a little bit firmer? Awesome. Those at home, you may need to be mindful of your blankets, okay? We're going to go ahead and inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Pause here, root down through that left foot as much as you can. On your next exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Pause. You might bring your hands to your blocks at this point. Spin your back foot to the floor. And you want to stay wide for a warrior 2. Bring both hands to the inside edge of your front leg. And start to walk your hands over towards the left, maybe towards almost the middle of your mat to the left. Push your right bum back to the person behind you. Press down on the outside edge of your left foot. And then see if you can draw your outer right hip under towards your inner left thigh while still pushing your butt back to the wall space behind you. Outer right hip, so the front hip hugs into your inner left thigh. Yep. And we're finding this fun down dog, low lunge, warrior 2 thing going on. And you're just breathing. And you're noticing what you notice. Keep opening that right knee. Yeah, nice job. On your next exhale, let's draw both hands to the inside edge of your front foot. Block is probably going to stay underneath the right hand. Left hand comes to your left hip. Now I want you to push down into your right hand a lot. Push your right arm into your right knee. Pull your outer right hip back into your inner left thigh, and then see if you can stack your left shoulder on top of your right. From there, you might reach your left hand back and then sweep it forward across the horizon and find extended side angle. And happy days. Are we breathing? Pretty intense pose to start off. So see if you're breathing. Yep. Right ribs wrap under, left ribs on top. Nice job, Barbara. Nice job, Laura. Nice job, Julie. Nice job, Steve and Jason and Roberta and Jenny and Sandy. We did it. Nice job. On your next exhale, let's come to a low lunge. Are we what? And then plant your hands on the mat. Step yourself back, downward facing dog. And I want you to just notice what you notice between the sides. Oh, I know that was definitely worthy of a big sigh. And you just notice what you notice. How are the legs? How was the breath? How are you? Nice job. All right, let's inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Pause here, really press down into the right foot. On your next exhale, step that left foot forward between your hands. Nice job. Same thing as before, hands come to blocks. You spin your right foot to the floor and then walk both hands over to the right. And it's probably more towards the right side of your mat. And same thing as before, you're gonna really press the knife edge of your right pinky foot to the floor. Open that left knee. So you're hugging that outer left hip back and in towards your inner right thigh as you send your tuchus to the wall or person behind you. And then you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're like, hello, hips. I forgot that you were a part of my body. And you breathe and you breathe. Jason, walk your hands further away from your head, please. Yep. And keep all the weight in your legs as you do that. Yeah. Awesome job. And then on your next exhalation, you're gonna walk your hands back underneath your chest, walk them to the inside edge of your front leg, probably keeping that left hand on a block, right hand to the right hip. Press your left hand into your left knee. Stack your right shoulder on top of the left, reach the right arm straight back, and then sweep it along the horizon like a pizza cutter slicer over your head. Fantastic. And then you've got about 3 to 5 breaths here. So that outer left hip is still drawing back. Yeah, that's looking nice. And then, yeah, you're rotating the left ribs under the right ribs up, and you're finding as much expansion through that right arm as possible. These look good, guys. Keep bending into your front knee as best you can. On your next exhale, let's go ahead and lower the right hand to the floor, come to a low lunge, step yourself back to your happy downward facing dog and sigh of relief, a pose we know. And you'll just pause and you'll breathe and you'll pause and you'll breathe. Nice job. Next in-breath, come forward into planky pose. And let's pause here. Again, I want you to feel like there are balloons in your armpits. So those lift up, yep. And then the tailbone lengthens back. And then see if you can lightly squeeze your glutes. There we go. They're glutees. There's our glutes. And then from here, we're going to shift our weight forward and lower all the way down. Chest, belly, and thighs touch at the same rate. Fantabulous. Now, once you find yourself down, extend the tops of the feet onto the floor. I want you to shrug the shoulders up towards the ears and draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Then lift your ears in line with the tops of your shoulders. Pause. Lengthen your tailbone back. Strengthen the legs and press down into the tops of the feet. Now, once again, see if you can lift your head just a few inches up. Bring your hands to interlace at the low back of your head. Sorry, hands to head. Yep. And then again, I want you to pull the head forward as you push the hands into the head, push the head into the hands to lift up. Fantastic. Some of you are going to stay right here and breathe. Some of you are going to open your arms out to the right and to the left into a T shape. And then you'll sweep them back behind you. Turn your palms to face your torso. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, draw the shoulder blades onto your back, and then lengthen the tailbone back even more. Press the toes down even more and see if you can lift your chest up by squeezing the shoulder blades onto the back. Nice job. On your next exhale, lower all the way down. Whoa, yeah, that was a good sound. I think that's appropriate. And then when you're ready, you'll bring your hands alongside your lowest ribs. Press up to hands and knees or plank, and then make your way back to downward facing dog and 3 breaths. And you just notice what you notice. So it's been a while since we've seen each other. And so you'll just notice what you notice. How does the body feel? How does the breath feel? How are we doing in this moment in time? Nice job, guys. All right, let's add on. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. As you exhale, draw your knee to your nose and pause and hover there for a moment. Then lift your pelvis a little higher and plant your right foot on the floor. Fantabulous. Again, spin that back foot all the way to the floor. You might want to bring your hands back to your blocks. And then you're going to walk your hands again over to the left side. Sorry, Roberta. Left side of your space. Now this time, we're going to do something that's kind of a little wonky. So I want you to walk your hands closer to the space below your pubic bone. And I want you to straighten your front leg. Straighten your front leg. Yeah, that feels super weird. Now I want you to push down through your right big toe. You're going to start to walk your hands back over your right foot. The right hand is going to come outside of the right foot. Hands still on block is probably a good idea. Your left hand comes to your left hip, and then you'll start to roll your left shoulder on top of your right to find yourself into Trikonasana. And notice how we got in there today, and that was a little bit different. Pull that kneecap up on the front leg. Keep pressing down into the big toe mound of that right foot, and then reach your left arm back, palm faces down, and then sweep it across the horizon. Yep. Then see if you can roll your right ribs under, left ribs on top. And notice how this feels to be in Utthita Trikonasana this way. And are you breathing? Can you soften any unnecessary tension? Nice job. On your next exhalation, go ahead and come to a low lunge facing the top of your space. And then step yourself back to downward facing dog. Nice job. And then just take 3 breaths and notice what you notice. Can you continue to lift up through the inner armpits? Reach your pelvis up to the space where the wall and the ceiling meet. Yeah. Awesome. All right, left side. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. As you exhale, step that left foot quietly to your, knee to nose, I pause. Hover here for a moment, then lift your bum up and then lower the foot to the floor. Sorry, I just needed to make you do core work. Might be great to bring your hands to your blocks once again. Spin your back foot to the floor. Walk your hands to the right side of your space. So your feet stay in that warrior 2 lunge, and the easier that you do that, the easier this will make this next transition. From here, walk your blocks underneath your face so they're closer to your pubic bone. Straighten your front leg long. Now you're going to start to walk your hands to frame the front foot. So the left hand comes outside of the left foot. Bring the right hand to the right hip. Push down into the left big toe. Start to wrap the right ribs on top of the left ribs underneath. So you stack that right shoulder. Yep. Press down onto the right pinky toe edge of that back foot. Reach back through the right hand. And then sweep it along the horizon, and you'll find Utthita Trikonasana on this side. And you'll just notice what you notice here. So the tailbone keeps lengthening back. The left kneecap keeps pulling up. And then you're noticing where you can soften and where you can breathe. Nice job, guys. Last breath cycle here. On your next exhalation, go ahead and come to a low lunge facing the top of your space. Step yourself back to downward facing dog. Pause. From down dog, inhale, roll forward into plank. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. The end of your next inhalation, shift your weight forward. As you exhale, lower in one piece all the way to the abdomen. Nice job. Once you get there, extend the tops of the feet onto the floor. Lengthen through the legs, lengthen the tailbone back. Press down into the hands. Draw the shoulders up towards the ears and draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Lift the ears in line with the tops of the shoulders. Great. Before you go any further, lengthen the tailbone back even more. Yep. Draw the sternum forward even more. Great. Hands come to the back of your skull. Great. Push your head into your hands. Pull your hands forward to lift the head a little higher. You might stay here. You might open the arms out. You might sweep the arms back. If the hands come back, turn the palms to face in. Now shrug the shoulders up toward the shoulder blades again. Notice how that lifts the chest, lengthen the tailbone back. Some of you will stay right here. Some of you will bend your right knee, grab your right foot with your right hand, and continue to reach back through your left. Nice job. Deep, steady breaths. Gently release that right leg if you took it. Go ahead and bend the left knee. Grab the left foot with the left hand. Keep reaching back through the right hand as much as you can. Lift the chest up and away from the floor. Press the right foot down. Nice job. Gently release. Lower all the way down. Oh, nice job. All right. Plant both hands alongside the ribs. Press up hands and knees or tabletop and exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. As you make your way back to down dog, I want you to check in. Are you present to what is happening, or are you telling yourself stories about what is happening? It's very easy for us to slip into one more than the other. And so just allow yourself to notice, what are you feeling in the body? Can you lift up and out of the shoulders? Can you press down and forward through the hands and keep finding the crease, the hollows in the hips? The more that we can allow ourselves to ground in this moment, it gives us the ability to be effectual in whatever we may find ourselves doing. All right, let's add on. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. As you exhale, quietly step that foot between your hands. Pause. Spin the left foot to the floor. This time you can keep your hands on the floor. Walk your hands to the left side of your mat. Check in with that right knee. Hug the outer right hip in so the right knee tracks over the center of the front foot. Now walk your hands back just a little bit so they're underneath your chest. And I want you to drop your head a lot. And I want you to lengthen your tailbone down as you roll yourself up to warrior 2. Roll the spine up to warrior 2. Ha-ha! Look at that. So beautiful. And then you're going to pause. What's the expression on your face? Can you soften that? Can you notice if there's energy equally moving out through the front hand and the back hand? And can you continue to bend deeply into that front knee, just like we did when we were in that down dog lunge? Fantastic. Keep your legs as they are. Reach your right hand up, lower your left hand down, and take a reverse warrior, but keep bending into your front knee. Imagine that you're just stretching your side body armpits like we were in toe squat, and you're just finding a nice steady breath. Awesome sauce, guys. On your next exhalation, cartwheel the hands down to the floor, pivot to the ball of your back foot, and make your way back to downward facing dog and pause. 3 steady breaths. Checking in with how the mat or the floor feels underneath your palms. Do you feel it? Do you notice what the skin feels like at the back of your neck? Can you hear and sense the breath? Is it entering through the nostrils or the mouth? Nice job. Let's try the other side. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. As you exhale, quietly step that foot between your hands. Nice work. Spin the right foot to the floor. Bring both hands to the inside edge of that front foot and walk them over towards the right. Fantastic. Now, before we go any further, press onto the pinky toe edge of that right foot. Scoop that outer left hip back and in towards your inner right thigh. Yeah. And then walk your hands underneath your chest. Drop your head, curl your tailbone down, and roll up to warrior 2. Yeah. Fantabulous. Okay. And then just pause. And then notice what this warrior 2 is looking like. Close your eyes if you want. Notice what this warrior 2 is feeling like. Nice job. Now, as you're ready, you're going to lower the right hand to touch the right thigh. Reach the left arm up and take a reverse warrior. And again, you're just trying to find the stretch on the left side body while lifting up through the left arm. On your next exhalation, go ahead and cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Pivot to the ball of your back foot. This time, step back to plank pose. Back to plank. Nice job. I want you to lift up through your inner armpits even more. So, yep, there you go. And on your next in-breath, shift the weight forward and lower all the way down. Fantastic. Same thing as we've been doing before. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Lengthen your tailbone back. Press lightly into your hands. Draw the shoulders onto the back, shoulder blades together on the back, and then lift your ears up in line with the tops of your shoulders. Now, as you're ready, you'll bring hands to the back of your head. Push your head into your hands. Lightly traction your head forward as you lengthen your tailbone back. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will open the arms out in a T shape. Some of you will sweep the hands back, palms face in. Now, see if you can draw the shoulders up towards the ears and shoulder blades together on the back, and notice how that lets you lift the chest. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will bend both knees. Now, just draw your heels to your butt, draw the shoulder blades together on the back, and just lift your chest. So we're not kicking the legs back just yet. We're just lifting the chest, lengthening the tailbone back. Nice work. As you're ready, you'll gently extend the legs long. You'll lower the chest back down. You'll plant the hands alongside the lowest ribs. You'll curl the toes under your choice, hands and knees or plank, and then back to downward facing dog, 3 breaths. And then you just notice, what do you notice? How's the body? How's the breath? How are you? How's the body? How's the breath? How are you? And you might need a water break, those at home. Those in person all took a water break at the same time. So, and then once you find yourself back in downward facing dog, we'll go ahead and move on to our next set. Sandy said the water break was just an excuse. All right. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. As you exhale, knee to nose, pause. Carefully plant that foot between your hands. Fantastic. Spin the back foot to the floor. Again, walk the hands to the left side of the mat. And you really want to keep the weight in your legs through all of this. So you'll hook that outer right hip back into that inner left thigh. Yep. You'll keep bending into the right knee. Now walk the hands back so they're underneath your chest. Drop your head and roll yourself up into Virabhadrasana 2, noticing that you can still bend into that front knee as you travel there. Still press into the knife side edge of that back foot. Fantastic. Now from here, take in a deeper breath and let go a deeper breath. Oh, there you go. Inhale, straighten your front leg long. Reach your right arm up like you're doing Hamilton or Superstar. The right arm is reaching straight up. Lower the left hand to touch the left thigh. And I want you to reach up through the left hand like you're doing a Mission Impossible hang thing. And so you're going to reach up and let your left ear drop towards the left shoulder. Let the left rib cage drop towards the left, but you are pulling up like you're doing a Mission Impossible hook hang. And we're finding a stretch happening on the right side. That feel okay? Okay. And then on your next in-breath, let's go ahead and come back up through vertical, reach forward, out, and down, and find yourself into Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Fingers might come to shin block or floor. Now I want you to slowly roll open the spine. So you're going to push down through your front leg, push down through the back leg, extend the ribs on the underside, so the right side, wrapping them under, and then notice how you can stack the left ribs on top, and the heart suddenly feels a lot more open in this shape. Nice job, guys. On your next exhale, go ahead and bring the hands to the floor. Come to a low lunge, step back, downward facing dog, deep breath. And you just notice, how's the body? How's the breath? How are you? We started off with some pretty intense shapes, but you'll notice that as we go along, even though they are intense, they also kind of dissipate. Kind of like most things. All right, let's go ahead and inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. As you exhale, knee to nose, hover and pause. Yep, lift your tuchus a little higher and then plant that foot on the floor. Spin the back foot completely to the floor. Walk your hands to the right side of your space and find that down dog lunge again. So we really want to hook the outer left hip back. So it requires external rotation in that front foot and actually pressing down into the back foot. Nice job. As you're ready, the hands will come back underneath your chest. Drop your head, drop your tail, roll up to warrior 2. Powerful leg, strong core, integrated body. Good job. And then just pause and breathe. Notice what you can soften. Notice what you can let go of. Great job, guys. And then as you're ready, you'll straighten your front leg long. Then reach up through your left arm, lower the right hand down, and it's just like you're doing a Mission Impossible hang. So you really want to reach up through that left arm, let the right ear drop to the right ribs drop to the right, and we're finding a nice stretch along our whole left intercostals. Yep. On your next in-breath, you'll go ahead and inhale, come up, and then reach forward, out, and down, finding yourself into Utthita Trikonasana, maybe hand on shin, block, or floor, coming into that extended triangle pose. And then as we rotate into the shape, you're going to keep pressing down into your left foot, your left hand, your left ribs become long, and then they wrap under and up, and the right ribs wrap on top. And then you'll just notice what this feels like to find yourself in this shape. On your next exhale, come to the low lunge facing the top of your space, and then step yourself back to downward facing dog. From down dog, let's go ahead and inhale forward into plank pose, fallen kasana. Good job. As you exhale, shift the weight forward, lowering all the way down. Nice job. Once you're on your bellies, extend the tops of the feet to the floor. Lengthen your tailbone back and energize your legs. Lightly press into your hands. Draw your shoulders to your ears. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back and lift your head in line with the tops of your shoulders. Fantastic. From here, press into the legs. Bring the hands to the back of the skull once again. Now, this is just to increase your leverage. You push your head into your hands into your head. Lift the chest a little higher. Yep. Keep that. Sweep the arms back. Turn the palms to face in. Fantastic. Now, once your arms are back, some of you will stay here and just float the legs off the floor. Others of you will bend both knees, reach around and grab the outside edges of both ankles. Keep lengthening your tailbone back. Draw your shoulder blades up to your ears, shoulder blades onto your back. And when you're ready, you'll kick your feet back and maybe lift a little bit higher into Dhanurasana, but we're finding that upper chest lifting. And you're pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing and you're pausing and you're breathing. Nice job, guys. As you're ready, carefully release the legs, extend the legs back to locust and fly, and then lower all the way down. Nice job. As you're ready, you'll plant your hands alongside your lowest ribs. You'll press yourself up to plank pose or hands and knees, and then make your way back to downward facing dog. Now, this is going to be your most important down dog of the day. So I want you, literally this one is, so I want you to pay attention to what's happening in your sacrum here. So in this down dog, really lift your outer edges of your hips up and back. Really root the feet back towards the floor and keep lifting up through your inner armpits. Yep, so you can find that elongation, that traction through the spine. And then you've just got 3 more breath cycles here. Some of you, once you get there, will continue to remain in stillness. Some of you may take subtle movements, but pay attention to what feels good to you with allowing you to connect to your body and to your breath. Nice work, guys. At the end of this next exhalation, you'll take a big breath in and then exhale, slowly step to the top of your space. Nice work. Once you get to the top of your space, separate your feet about hip distance apart. So maybe those 2 fists come inside your feet again, just to have that as a reference. And then we will pause. I want you to drop your head and you're going to start to roll up your spine bone by bone. And I want you to take as much time as you can. So imagine that this is the ice age. You're moving really slow, really slow. Really slow. Head is super heavy. Really slow. Really slow. Head is super heavy. 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 Really slow. And then when you get to the top, that tailbone still keeps dropping down to the feet. The head lifts up, the heart opens up. And you'll just take a couple breaths once you get there and just notice what it feels like to be in the body. Notice what it feels like to be in your legs specifically. Do you feel a little bit more grounded, more rooted? All right. So if the eyes are closed, gently open them. We're going to take a weird entrance into Utkatasana. I want you to just slide your hands down your legs to your knees, and then you're going to start to bend your knees. As your knees come forward, I want you to push your hands out, or rather your knees out into your hands, hands in towards your knees. And then from there, you'll just release the hands forward to come up. And now I want you to push down into your big toe mounds and imagine that you can spread your big toes to your pinky toes so your whole foot becomes wider. And then you're lifting up through your pinky fingers and softening any tension around your shoulders and maybe lifting your gaze without grimacing your face. And on your next in-breath, you'll stand up, you'll reach up, you might look up. And then you'll exhale and let the arms open out. And we're going to try that one more time. And you'll just notice what you notice. So hands will again slide down the legs. You'll bend into your knees. The hands will push into the thighs will push out into the hands. And then once you're in your depth, you'll reach the arms forward. You keep pressing down into your big toe mounds. You slide wide across the feet. Yeah, there you go, into your pinkies. And then you'll notice if you can sit a little bit lower by reaching the arms up a little bit higher. And you've got 2 more breaths. You're doing great. On your next inhalation, you'll push down through the feet. You'll reach up through the arms. You'll stand up. You might look up. And then you'll open the arms out. You'll soften the gaze. You'll close the eyes. Bring a hand to the heart and a hand to the gut. And then you'll just take a moment to pause. And you'll take a moment to breathe. And you'll just notice what you notice in this moment. How are you actually feeling? As that old saying goes, our minds are amazing servants, but terrible masters. And the more we can allow ourselves to just be in this moment, feeling it, sensing it, the better off we'll be. All right. Let's go ahead and gently open our eyes if our eyes are shut. I want you to bring your attention to the bottom of your left foot. Spread wide through the bottom of your left foot. Start to shift the weight into your left foot and float your right leg up in front of you for an Ardha Tadasana shape, so half Tadasana. Now go ahead and externally rotate that right leg, plant the right foot to the inside edge of the left thigh or calf, and take Vrikshasana tree pose. And then bring your hands wherever you want, and wobbling is okay. And you'll just notice what you notice here in this moment. The ankle does actually need to move to find stability and balance. Balance is a constant adjustment, not a static thing. And so just notice how that's working for you now. Yeah. And then when you're ready, you'll gently release the right leg back to that one-legged Tadasana. And then release the right foot down. Start to shift the weight into the right foot, or at least your awareness first, becoming aware of the sole of the right foot. Then pour all your weight into the right foot and float the left leg up, one-legged Tadasana. Yeah. Then externally rotate that thigh. Plant the left foot to the inside edge. Yeah, nice job, guys. Inside edge of that right calf or right thigh. And then you'll just pause and the arms go wherever you want. And notice how the balance is on this side. Notice how much the ankle is working, and that's what it's supposed to do. Notice how much the legs are working, your breath is working. Good job. Yep. And then when you're ready, you'll gently come back out to that one-legged Tadasana. Release the foot back to the floor. And then shake or wiggle in any way that feels good to you. Nice job, guys. Awesome. And then once you are complete with your water break and your movement break, let's go to the top of our mat, feet hip distance apart. And we're going to do a very awkward thing. Yeah. You're going to try to sit through Utkatasana all the way to your butt. And I found that it helps if you reach your arms away in opposition from you as you go down. Coming through what we call a primitive squat. Yeah, and then once you're all the way to your depth, your butt comes to the floor. Some of you will sit up on a blanket, some of you will not, but we're going to draw the soles of our feet together. So Baddha Konasana on your bum. And you're just going to stay here for a moment. You might pull the ankles really close to your perineum. You might not. And the heart comes forward and through. And then you're going to hinge at the hips just a moment. We're just here for 2 breath cycles before we move on. And so you're just noticing what this feels like. And then very gently come out of this shape. Hands come to the outer edges of knees, close knees together like a book. Walk your feet forward just slightly. Your left leg is going to tuck underneath your right. Your right foot is going to cross to the outside edge of your left thigh. And our blanket might be very helpful here just because it gives us a little bit of height. And then you're going to lift your butt up and slide your bum a little bit to the left so that your right sit bone can come to the floor. Fantastic. Then hug that right knee pretty close to your chest. You might wrap your left arm around your right knee and bring your right hand back behind you. Now, I've been finding that this is helpful for me. I like to put my right thumb in the crease of my right hip and actually pull my hip away from my ribs as I pull my left armpit into my inner right thigh. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it creates length on the side body. So push this away. Pull. There you go, Jenny. Yep. And then you can pull your left ribs even closer to that right knee as you wrap the right ribs back and away from you. And then you can find a little bit more stretch happening on the outside edge of that right hip. Just a little bit. There we go. And then very gently, you're going to release that. You'll come back through center. You'll uncross the right leg, uncross the left leg, then switching sides. So right shin comes to the floor. Left leg crosses onto the outside edge of that right leg. And then you're going to push down through the feet, lift your pelvis up, slide the butt a little bit to the right. And then same thing as before, hug the left knee towards the chest, maybe wrap the right arm around it. Love the face, Sandy. Bring the left hand back behind you, and then you can keep pushing down into the big toe of the left foot. And then lift up through the spine. And then if you want, you can bring that left hip to the left hip crease and you just really root the left hip down as you lift the left shoulder away and the right ribs to that inner left thigh. And it just creates a little bit more space. Continue to sit tall through the spine so the heart doesn't collapse. There you go, over that left leg. And just notice what that feels like. Nice work. Okay. Very gently, you're going to unwind and come out of that. Uncross the left leg, uncross the right. You'll probably still stay on that blanket and go ahead and extend both legs long in front of you. Some of you will stay right there. Some of you will feel like you want to put the blanket on your lap. So you'll choose whatever works for you. If the blanket's on your lap, you pull it back and hinge forward. But either way, we're going to hinge forward and come over our legs. And so you'll reach for your feet for Paschimottanasana. So it creates spaciousness in my hip flexors, so it releases more of the psoas. If you felt like you did not like that. Well, you might also find that it helps. Like, I just find that, like, yeah, Sandy is right. When you're already putting your chest on your thighs, it does help. Come out of this just a little bit. Right. And so what you'll do is you'll pull this back and then you'll reach forward. And does that feel better in your hip flexors? Yeah, it's essentially just like a strap, and it's just you giving yourself a self-assist. And especially if you have like hip flexor problems or like, Julie, you might actually like this too. It's really good if you have a torn labrum because it just gives you space, but it still gives you that stretch. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then as you're ready, you'll gently come out of this. And then if you have a blanket behind you, please remove it. People at home, actually, how do you want to deal with the sun? Okay, we're going to lay down on our backs. I want you to have one end or both of your blocks nearby, as well as your blanket. So you might want to turn around so your head's not in the sun, but it's totally up to you guys. Okay, well, make your way onto your backs. All right. And then when we find ourselves on our backs, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and bend both of our knees and plant the feet on the floor. From here, cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Thread your hands through the whole of your legs and grab either the back of the left thigh, front of the left shin. And I want you to feel like you're still pressing the back of your skull into the floor. Still pressing the back of your pelvis into the floor. And then notice if you have to shift your pelvis a little bit to the left so your right knee isn't drawing both hips to the right. And then you're just pausing and you're breathing here. And all of you know how to intensify this for yourself. So you might just press that right ankle into the top of the left thigh. You might use the right forearm to press the right thigh away from you. But really focus on the bum being really heavy and the skull being really heavy. Nice job. And then very gently, you'll release the hands, release the feet back to that neutral position, both feet parallel and on the floor. Take a moment to notice the difference between the sides. And then as you're ready, we'll switch sides. The left ankle crosses over the top of right thigh. Flex through that foot. Draw the legs towards your chest and interlace the hands either at the back of the right thigh or front of right shin. And then keeping the head heavy, keeping the bum heavy. Notice if you can shift more of your weight towards the right so that the left knee doesn't draw the whole pelvis over to the left. Nice job. All right. 2 more breath cycles here. And then as you're ready, you'll gently release the hands. You'll bring both feet back to the floor in that neutral position. All right. From here, let's bring our hands alongside our hips. Some of you might robot the arms. Some of you will keep the arms long. It's totally up to you. But you're going to press the backs of the shoulders into the floor. You're going to push the feet into the floor. You're going to lift the hips up, press the head down, and come into a bridge pose. Now, instead of just thrusting your pelvis up, I want you to see if you can lengthen your tailbone forward to your knees and actively press into your big toes and widen your pinky toes. And then see if you can bring more of your upper arm onto the floor by walking the shoulder blades together. Yep. And those of you that are robots, really push down into the elbows. Those that arms are straight, you might grab the outer edges of your mat. You might interlace your hands behind your low back. But you've got 3 breath cycles here, and you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing what you notice. Yeah. And then as you're ready, you'll release the hands, you'll untuck the shoulders, you'll come back down onto your back, and you'll just take a moment to pause. You'll take a moment to breathe, and you'll notice what you notice happening here. Okay, so we have the option to do that again. You have a block, so you could put 1 or 2 blocks underneath your pelvis, or you could do what's called a supported shoulder stand, and I'll talk you guys into that. So those that are doing supported bridge, just put the block underneath. Those that are doing the active bridge, go ahead and do that. Those that would like to do the modified shoulder stand, you'll cactus, or rather you'll robot your arms, you'll press your feet down, you'll push your hips up. Once your hips are high, press to the balls of your feet. Walk your shoulders underneath you even more. Maybe bring your hands underneath your bum to hold your pelvis. And then lift one leg and or both legs up towards the sky. And you want to keep the weight in the upper arms if you're doing that. Active through the feet, active through the legs. And if you're in a supported bridge, you can just let the arms hang down if you'd like. There you go. And those that are in supported bridge, if you want your legs up to the sky, you can do that as well. Yep, and then you just pause and you just breathe and you notice what you notice. Nice job. And we've got about 4 more breath cycles here. So you just do you. And at the end of your 4th exhalation, you'll slowly bring yourself back to your back. And you just take your time, really sensing into the body. It'll tell you when it's done. It's kind of like a little turkey timer. When you put those timers on the turkey and you put them in the oven, they pop out when the turkey's done. And so you're the turkey timer. When you feel done, you will slowly come out of this. And the first thing that you'll do when you get down is you might widen the feet outside of the knees and let the knees knock in. And you'll just take a couple breath cycles there. And after you've taken at least 2 to 3 breath cycles in this more neutral position, you might open the arms out to the right and to the left, and then slowly allow the legs to fall one way, and then slowly allow the legs to fall the other way. Just taking some very slow supine twists. And you'll do probably about 4, so like 2 to each side. And then if you decide you want to take a, I guess, 5th and 6th set where you hold it, maybe stacking the bottom ankle on top of the top thigh, you might do that, but just move slowly, allowing the pelvis to reset. And really noticing if you can feel and sense your breath as you're doing this. Nice work, guys. And you've got about, I don't know, another 3 to 4 breath cycles on your own. So if you haven't done both sides, please do both sides. And then when you are done between the sides, we'll come back to that constructive rest. So the feet are outside of the hips, the knees are knocking in. Great. And then our last little thing from here, just to reset the pelvis and the sacrum to make sure it's good. Keep your feet as they are, but open and close the knees as wide as they'll go. So keep the whole sole of the foot glued to the floor. Let the knees open as wide as they'll go. And you're moving very slowly, allowing the 2 innominate bones of the pelvis to re-talk to each other. And then once you've done about 5 to 10 of those, you'll come back to neutral. Nice work. And then from here, let's come to stillness if you're in knot. Draw your knees into your chest. Slide your hands through the inside edges of your thighs. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Press the soles of your feet together and let the knees open wide. Notice how heavy you can make your butt. Notice how heavy you can make your head. Some of you will stay here just pressing the feet into each other, stretching through the inner thigh. Some of you will draw your knees towards the floor, your feet towards the sky, and take Ananda Balasana, happy baby. And you just pause and you just breathe. And you notice if feeling still feels good to you or gentle movement feels good to you, but you just pay attention. You're like that little turkey timer, listening for the internal impulses that your body is sending you and responding accordingly. And then when you feel complete with all of that, you're going to make your way to your final resting pose. So some of you might go back to constructive rest, which was with the feet outside of the hips, knees knocking in. Some of you might go to Supta Baddha Konasana with the blocks and the blanket. Some of you might do Shavasana. So you allow yourself to figure out what feels appropriate to you. Whatever your final shape in is fantabulous. I like that word now. I don't even know where it came from. I'm enjoying it. And then we'll take a moment to really become still. I want you to first notice if you need to fidget the body around in any way so it feels like the right and the left halves feel equally rooted into the floor. And then I want you to open and close the mouth a few times, seeing if there's any tension there. Okay. And then I want you to exhale whatever breath you're currently holding on to. And then you'll take in as big of an inhalation, as comfortable of an inhalation as you can. When the breath gets to the top, you'll hold it for a couple beats. And then you'll slowly let all of the breath go. And you take as much time as you need to really let the breath go. And then at the end of that exhalation, you'll again draw the breath in, taking in as easy but yet full breath as possible. The top of the inhalation, hold the breath a couple of beats, and then slowly let it all go. And you'll do that a couple more times on your own, really just allowing the breath to wash over you. You receive it in its entirety when you inhale. Notice the experience of feeling full of breath. And then ride the exhalation out all the way to its depth, all the way to its base. Yeah. And you'll just do that one more time. And then as the breath starts to settle, you just notice what it feels like in its natural, involuntary state. Letting the mind and the body soften with the breath. And you'll just spend the next few moments here on your own. I encourage you to continue to watch the natural rhythm of the breath. At any point in time you notice that your mind has wandered, not to worry. Simply notice that and then come back to watching the breath. I'll leave you here with you for a few more moments on your own, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just take a moment to check in. Notice what you notice in this moment. If there's any part of you longing to linger in this shape, by all means, please stay here. When you are ready to move on, please invite small, gentle movement into your physical form in whatever way feels good to you. Those in stillness, stay as long as you like. Those in movement, you'll start to make your way over to one of your sides. You'll pause there for a couple breath cycles. Those on your side, you'll start to slowly roll your chest more towards the floor. Press into the top hand and draw your spine up to a tall and comfortable seat. And when you are vertical, I would encourage you to elevate your bum on a block or a blanket. And then when you are vertical, take the opportunity to still keep the gaze closed or softly. And then notice what it feels like to really stack your shoulders over your hips, up your ears over your shoulders. And then plant your hands on your thighs. For today, let's have both palms face up. Tuck your left index finger into the base of your left thumb. Turn that palm to face the thigh. Tuck your middle finger and index finger of your right hand into the palm of your right hand, and then draw your right hand in front of your face. Draw the right thumb to the outside edge of the right nostril, the pinky finger and the ring finger to the outside edge of the left nostril. Exhale all the breath from your mouth. Go ahead and close your lips, close the left nostril, inhale just through your right. Top of your inhalation, go ahead and close your right, and then exhale out through the left. When you need to, you'll draw that breath back in through your left. Top of your inhalation, you'll close your left and exhale out just through the right. That counts as one round. You'll do 2 more on your own. And you're just paying attention to how slow and easy you can make the breath. Still staying energized through the spine, but soft in any unnecessary tension in the arms. And then after your 3rd round, the last time the breath goes out the right nostril, you'll go ahead and lower your right hand. And you just notice what the breath feels like coming in and out of the nose, in and out of the body. So much of this life is a gift on a moment by moment, breath by breath basis. Sometimes we have to slow ourselves down enough so that we can be present to it and with it. So as you're here for these next few moments and next few breaths, I invite you to set an intention for the rest of your day. What aspect of life do you want to slow down in so that you can be present to all of it? Maybe it's your partnership. Maybe it's your friends or your parenting. Whatever it is, just allow yourself to remember that by being fully present, you can share the gift that is you as well as receive the gift that is the other. We'll go ahead and complete our practice by taking a collective breath followed by a collective Om. Gently draw the hands to heart center Anjali Mudra. Press the palms into each other. Receive the weight of the thumbs into your chest and then lift your chest back towards your thumbs. Soften the chin slightly towards your fingers and exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. Om. To that light, to that breath, and to that sound, we bow. Namaste.